Hey, it's Gage with Gage 4 Gaming, here to bring you another War Crown video. Today we're going to cover the 3-star wanted boss, Lycan. We're going to go over strategies, and really for this one, I've used the same strategy since the beginning. I just kill it faster now. Why do you want to farm these? Well, this is where you're going to get your damage accessories. Your mages will need the earrings from here, and your melee and ranged will need the rings. Liliths will benefit, Garrett will benefit, your Nazdans will benefit from this, as well as your Zillions, your Eldens, and your Kaliases. This boss is Assassin class. It is also Dark Element, same as in Banu. They changed the elements of these bosses a few patches ago. Today we're going to cover the same strategies. Really, for this boss, the strategy is the same regardless. There's no beginner / advanced strategy. You'll kill it the same way. Let's go in and we'll run through it, and then we'll go over what accessories drop. Thing that you need to consider when forming a party for this is that you need somebody that's going to be able to absorb the Lycan's hits. Arendelle is a good, safe option because everybody gets him from the story. You want to make sure whoever's going to absorb the hits is in the last slot, very last slot, and you'll see why when we go into the battle. Another good option here is Faria. Reason for this is that Lycan has an ability where when he gets low, he'll stealth and attack, and he absorbs health based on the amount of damage that he does. Faria can shield herself to where she doesn't take any damage, so the boss doesn't heal any. Arendelle just shields and can absorb damage all day long. So I actually don't have Faria, so I run Arendelle there. The shield he provides actually also helps the rest of the team not get destroyed by the wolves that you'll see here in a minute. Make sure the DPS that you bring some AoE DPS units, because Lycan will also stealth, and when he's in stealth form you can't target him directly, but what you can do is target one of the wolves near him and hit him with an AE spell, and it knocks him out of stealth. When you do, you can target him from there on out, and he'll heal a little bit. You need him to stealth. If you kill him before he stealths, then you have to kill all the wolves, and it makes it hard to 3-star the boss. Alright, so we'll go in. As usual, for just like in Banu, I'm going to search for a Fire Zillion, which probably, it works just because it's Fire Zillion, but for this boss, it is not ideal. And I'll explain more once we go over the boss's stats and actually take a look at what's effective against him and what you want to do. And load, autos off. Alright, so the boss starts up on the ledge and comes down. I said in one of my previous videos that there is a time where you don't want insane amount of action charge speed. This is it. Because if say your melee DPS is faster than the Lycan, then they have to come up here. And if they're not in these two positions and have a move range of 4, they won't be able to get to him. So it'll be a waste of turn for them. If a melee unit was standing back where Zillion is standing now, they would just pretty much waste a turn, and then these wolves would come and get a free attack in. So the Lycan's boss, let's see what his movement charge speed is. His action charge speed is 294. So you don't want any more than 294 action charge speed on your units. Arendelle you can have over because his first turn he's not going to move regardless. So if he breaks 294, not a big deal. But you do not want your DPS units to break 294. But you want them more than the wolves. The wolves that are surround him, these are called maned wolves, and there is 4 of them. Their action charge speed is 252. So you want higher than 252, but less than 294. So there's a good little cushion there where you'd like to be at. Okay. So, first turn, Arendelle, I usually shield because right after all the wolves will move and they kind of spread out 1 per unit and do some damage. But next DPS, I go ahead and I stack as much damage on the Lycan as possible. I save my AE skills because depending on crits, depends on which unit is actually going to get to go right after the Lycan stealth. So I just save them all. And all the wolves are going, and they spread out. Without Arendelle's shield, they would have put a pretty good amount of damage on the units. Now, Zillion's turn. Zillion is just a powerful unit, especially Fire Zillion, just because of her passive, the 5% health, and because we had the ability to max skill her at the time. Probably, if you had a max skill Sin or something like that, it probably would have been a better choice because of this reason. If you look here, where is it? So, magic damage immunity rate, nothing. There's no bonus damage whatsoever from magic, but there is bonus damage from physical. So, any physical units you bring, like a Lycian from the arena, or a Sin, or even Lilith, Horus, any physical unit will be able to put a pretty good hurting, especially if they're max skilled on this boss. Okay. I do not know if it has any. Okay, so he doesn't get any bonus damage from anything. Looking at his skills. Okay, so Fire Zillion, still a strong choice because she's max skilled. What you gotta be careful of is, especially if you have a high gear tune, don't kill the boss in the opening few turns. Get him down low where he stealths. You want him to stealth, and he didn't stealth. Alright, so I'm just going to basic attack. And I'm going to attack a wolf. Oh well, we're going to try this. It's a learning experience for both of us, and I killed the boss. Alright, never mind. I guess they fixed it. Used to, when you killed the boss before he stealthed, you had to kill all the wolves in order to get credit for 3-starring. It almost guaranteed that you would exceed the turns, and you would only get a 2-star out of it. I guess they fixed it, so we got 3 stars. Now the accessories that he can drop 5 or 6-star accessories. These are physical attack percentage, magical attack percentage. What he dropped for me this time are all physical rings. Depending on what unit you're gearing and what stage of the game you are, depends on if you're going to use these or not. Physical attack percentage increases, like this one, are good for your Nat 5s and your Nat 4s. Especially like Lilith, Debnia Officer, your 5-stars like Garrett. They're going to want the percentage attack increase. Now your 3-stars, you're going to want to look for probably flat stats, because their base stats aren't going to be high enough to offset the percentage increase, because if their basic attack is 100, 12% of that isn't going to be nearly as much as, you know, a 200 flat stat that you're going to get from the physical attack ring by powering it up. The substats down here, generally your stronger ones are sometimes magic HP increase. Action charge speed is another really good substat that you'll want to look for. And anytime that you're getting a stat that actually adds bonus, like physical attack, is a positive change. You don't want effect accuracy on a unit that does not apply detrimental effects, just like you don't want magical attack on a physical unit and physical attack on a magical unit. It's just a waste of stat allocations. So they can drop 6-star rings as well. There's actually one of the better rings that I'm searching for called Knight's Signet. It actually adds 30% crit damage and with a percentage physical attack. I'm looking for those for my units, and I hope it drops with action charge speed as well. I can show some of that. As far as alternate strategies here, there really isn't. You're going to the wall trying to get damage on the boss as quickly as possible. Good units to possibly use here. I've seen Dark Lycan almost be able to one-shot the Lycan. Sin, Light Deathmon, they're all strong units. Be real careful how you bring light units to this, though, if you're not prepared, because the wolves being dark, they'll do increased damage to you guys, and they're already getting a buff from the Lycan as it is. So if you're geared, it doesn't matter. But if you're just starting out and just farming, make sure you take that into consideration. Sin's really strong. Lycian's really strong. Horus has just made a surge. When the game first started, everybody kind of blew Horus off as there were better units. Now with the new wanted boss that just came out, everybody's starting to realize how strong Horus is. He shines pretty good. He can take Zillion's spot. He's a ranged unit. And plus he crit buffs the rest of the team. Anything with percentage health damage that take 5, 7, 8% off the boss's health at a time is pretty strong. Okay, some of the gear that you can get out of here. Let's look. I've got a few staggered around different places. Alright, so this is one of the rings I was talking about, the very strong, very positive ring that you probably need to look for. The magic version, let me go to my Zillion, if I can find where I went. There, here she is. These are the magic version of that. Same thing. Action charge speed, 25 substat, very good. Percentage magical increase. So remember, nat 4, nat 5s, you want percent increases. Crit damage increase, you don't have a choice, it's always percentage. You want crit damage increase as long as your crit chance is buffed. If you're running a crit buffer like Light Zillion or Horus, then you can stack crit damage. If you're running crit chance, which I'm not, take my advice, don't do as I do. Crit chance on their weapon, run stack crit damage. I'm actually working on it. And then if you're running a crit chance lead, you can stack crit damage. Also, another good option, this Ruse Prayer here can roll with action charge speed in the place of effect resistance. So you can actually get action charge speed and then roll a substat action charge speed to get 40, 50 action charge speed on one item. So if you need to speed your mages up, it's a good option. Other notable boss stats. We went over all that. He does have they do have defense penetration rates. So if you're running a tank like Kalito or somebody and you're stacking defense on them, realize that the Lycan will punch through that pretty well. The Lycan's defense penetration rate is 45%, while the Wolves are 65%. So they will eat through your defense pretty well. So HP is the way to go. Okay. Thank you guys. This is how I beat Lycan, how to 3-star Lycan with thoughts and the gear and what you should be looking for. If you have any requests or you disagree with this video at all, or even if you like and agree with it, leave it in the comments below. Like the video, helps out, and subscribe for future videos. Okay, thank you guys. I appreciate it.